What's up, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. For our first question, Benjamin Unsworth asks if Star Wars Visions could pave the way for something like a what-if series in the future.
We've talked about this a lot. Like, we get this question a lot, and we've answered it in Q&As before. But, yeah, with a lot more news about Visions coming out, and with the Marvel What If trailer coming out this past week, I was like, why not? My answer in the past has always been that I don't think they will, at least not for a long time, because I thought that Lucasfilm was being maybe overly protective about, what is and isn't canon. But, I mean, this proves me wrong. I think that they're going to do some straight-up not canon stories. So I think it could pave the way.
Yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction. We're not getting a what-if series exactly like Marvel is doing, obviously, because these are all new characters, new stories. But if this goes over well, I could see them continuing something like this and maybe pulling in characters but tweaked a little bit. So like if, for instance, if Luke was a girl from the very beginning and someone might write a short story about that.
Or if Yoda wound up training Leia instead of Luke like he wanted.
Yeah. Right, exactly. That is a possibility for the future. It's not what Visions is, but yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, right now it just seems like they're being experimental, and it's just, I mean, Star Wars has a lot of Eastern influences on it, so it's let's try this anime thing, and you can do whatever you want. If the Marvel What If series goes over well, I can absolutely see Disney being like, hey, maybe we try it over here too. I don't know. I mean, Star Wars has done that in the past with comics. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely potential there. And all this stuff with Visions, it surprises me. I assumed it was all going to be canon, and I was taken aback that even the book is an alternate history. I'm like, okay, right on. Let's see what happens. So
we're basically getting a new Legends show.
I've seen people throw around should it have the Legends banner on it? And no,
it doesn't have to be labeled.
That's another kind of, that could be confusing, and people would be like, oh wait, is this part of the Legends canon? And it's no, it's its own thing. I think maybe slap a Myths banner on it or something.
Myths and Fables.
Right. Yeah, it's in that same vein as the Myths and Fables books that have come out. Maybe these are in-universe myths that are told or something, but really, I just think it fits in within the overall mythology of Star Wars. Is it takes place in that galaxy, whether or not it actually happened, it's still going to be a Star Wars story. So I don't know. I'm just really intrigued to see how this goes as someone who has a very canon focused mind.
Charlie McKay wants to know how long each Visions episode will be.
Obviously, we don't know, but if I had to guess, because they're all coming out on the same day, I think they're going to be on the shorter side.
Yeah. They're basically dumping this whole season series, anthology, whatever we want to call it, on us at once. So I think there's going to be a varying degree of lengths, but for the most part, probably pretty short.
I mean, I'm hoping that some of them hit 20 minutes, but yeah, I think they're going to be on the shorter side. I hope I'm wrong, but the fact that it's just all of them at once, that surprised me too, because I was hoping to cover it weekly like we have been with all the other shows, but we still might. But yeah, just that's just a gut feeling. I'm I bet these are going to be a little shorter, 5 or 10 minutes.
Cameron's Story asks if it's possible to break the cycle of violence and war in Star Wars, similar to what happens in Battlestar Galactica.
Maybe. So in Battlestar Galactica, the Cylons and the humans are constantly fighting. They're constantly getting revenge on each other. The humans create the Cylons kill the humans kill the Cylons, and back and forth. And that, I think, is more of a, we're not stopping war forever. It's more just let's break this cycle of violence between our people, and that's it. I don't think Star Wars could really go on without the wars part.
Yeah, I mean, everything's about balance between the dark side and the light side. So that war is constant.
And I think, yeah. And I think that war is constant within every person as well.
Yeah.
I think that Star Wars says, like, it's not like you decide to be a Jedi and you're light side forever. No, you're constantly still dealing with this struggle of, you're still going to have dark side emotions and stuff. So, every living person is still going to have that battle, and sometimes they're going to lose. So, yeah, I don't really see it as a breaking a cycle so much as like you'd have to just completely change human nature.
Yeah.
And I don't really know that even Star Wars says that's possible. Like for every person everywhere to always be good all the time. It's like maybe
that's not interesting.
Yeah. Maybe the very last Star Wars story ever will be like, and everyone was light side and everyone lived happily ever after.
Yeah. It just doesn't make for good storytelling.
Yeah, you need the conflict.
I think whatever we get post sequel trilogy is going to point us in the direction of the answer to this question, because at some point down the line, past episode 9, there needs to be some kind of other conflict, right?
Right. Okay, here's the cycle I hope is broken. Jedi and Sith, much like the humans and Cylons. Let's move on from that. Let's find a new kind of darkness and villain where that was supposed to be Snoke and Kylo Ren, and then it's like, oh no, but a Sith was still pulling the strings. Like, let's not do the Sith and an Empire again. Let's find something else.
We're kind of getting that in the High Republic already. If we're going to talk about going backwards in time, like the Sith aren't really a thing, but you've got the Nile and the Drengir. So there's that. Speaking of the High Republic, Mr. J.D. Rice wants to know how the High Republic compares to Shadows of the Empire as a multimedia project, and what could it learn from Shadows?
I mean, so far, I think it's great. What could it learn? I mean, it's already, I think, achieved... It's a more sprawling story, obviously, because Shadows of the Empire was one story told in 3 formats: book, comic, video game. But I absolutely think that the High Republic could take some ideas from Shadows of the Empire. Let's get a soundtrack. Let's get a video game, maybe. Let's get what? Oh, merchandising. Let's get some action figures.
Yeah, I mean, you've already got a little bit of music in the audiobooks that, like, every time it pops up, it has me really intrigued. So, yeah, I could absolutely see them going somewhere on screen with the High Republic.
Yeah.
A video game would be pretty cool.
Okay, I think it's going to remain just publishing for the course of its main run. Maybe a video game after the fact. Because that's just how they planned it all. Unless they just surprise us at EA Play or something. But
unless they come out and say, guess what? We've got a High Republic movie, show, and game coming out.
As long as the 5 authors like wrote those stories, I'm down. Like that's I just feel like this should be their thing. It's their project that they built together. But yeah, like Shadows of the Empire had someone wrote a soundtrack for it and they sold that. I'd absolutely get that. Action figures, come on. Yeah, I want some of those like gold robes and their I forget what they call them, like their mission garb and stuff made of leather.
Yeah.
I need an Ember action figure.
Mm-hmm. Truman Duree asks if the Bendu's prophecy about Thrawn could be repeated in live action.
So in season 3, the Bendu says that he sees Thrawn's future. You're surrounded by a bunch of arms. I forget the exact wording. And then that's basically fulfilled by the Purrgil that drag him off into space. I think that's probably all the Bendu meant. So I'm going to guess that it won't be repeated. It would be kind of cool if it did again. But I'm also like, if you're going to bring him into live action, and if you're going to kind of sort of do the Thrawn trilogy thing where he comes back from the unknown regions and he tries to take down the New Republic, I kind of want him to die the way he dies in those books, just because I always liked that ending for the character. So
yeah, I mean, with Dave Filoni being involved, wherever Thrawn pops up into live action, I assume he will be. There's no telling.
Yeah, it's certainly possible that, I mean, Dave knows the prophecy because he was involved in creating it. So
Yeah.
he could absolutely reuse that.
What's the prophecy exactly?
I said as much as I remember it, that the Bendu saw Thrawn like cold and being crushed by a bunch of arms or something, which I think is like the tentacles of the Purgil, like grabbing him and stuff.
That makes me think probably not.
I think when they were writing that, they didn't know that Thrawn would be in live action. So
yeah,
that's maybe they can adapt it, but I'd rather see him assassinated like he was in The Last Command. That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where we left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained content, and we recently revamped the Patreon to have a whole lot of different rewards, so we're still doing audio commentaries for The Bad Batch. We're also doing reactions for the episodes as they come out, both edited and uncut. We're doing a book club this coming Tuesday for The Rising Storm and Race to Crash Point Tower. There's a lot of stuff on there, so if you want to go check it out and see if anything sounds fun to you, you can do that at the link in the description.
On to YouTube questions. Calvin Kong asks if Star Wars will give us sequel trilogy era animated stories in the future.
I'd be shocked if that never happened. Just like the Clone Wars helped flesh out the prequel era, I think the sequel trilogy could really use that.
Yes. I've been clamoring for something like that for a long time.
And there's lots of options. I mean, I'm a big fan of the idea of, like, Luke and maybe Lor Santeca, maybe Ben, traveling the galaxy, and just, like, every arc or every episode is a different planet where they learn about a new aspect of the Force that we've never seen before. I guess that's kind of like Mando, but more Force-centric. But, like, go to a planet, solve a problem, learn something new. Like, that sounds like fun to me, but you could do so much stuff. Like, I don't know, focusing on the New Republic Navy more. Just giving us some more context about especially the New Republic. I think that's where it's really lacking.
Yeah. Do you think that they would do an animated show with, like, the main characters of the sequel trilogy?
I think it's possible. I mean, they got 7 seasons out of, and they were planning at least 8 for the Clone Wars, and that was 3 years of conflict. So they could do 2 or 3 seasons in between episodes 8 and 9. That's 1 year. So they could do that too. Like I said, there's plenty of options. You could do it during the sequel trilogy, before the sequel trilogy, whatever you want to do.
It's all there. Mitwit Gaming wants to know if Star Wars Visions will include stories from the High Republic.
Doesn't sound like it. I think it was a highly upvoted question, but no, I don't think that's likely at all. Based on what, I mean, they showed us what each story was about, so
yeah,
no, I think it's all just going to be kind of randomly strewn about.
Yeah, it does sound like we're getting at least one, like, old story from, like, a long time ago.
It's weird. Like, some of them you see stormtroopers that look like classic stormtroopers, and some look like sequel trilogy, and some it's like all repurposed stuff, like a gonk droid made out of wood and bamboo and stuff, like, which I love. But yeah, I think they're just going to be all over the place, but I don't think the creators took the High Republic into account when they were making this.
Peter Karargaris asks what our favorite Star Wars pets would be.
They say in their question that it can be like man-eating pets too, if you wanted to sick them on your enemy. If you wanted to say Rancor.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was going to say Lothwolf.
Oh, that's a good one. I was going to say Nexu.
Yeah.
That's
it's
been...
It's like a big dog and a big cat.
Yeah. There, we got a pet. It's just like here.
Yeah.
But Nexu have been pets in both canon and Legends. Leia's granddaughter in Legends had a pet Nexu. I don't think it had gotten like fully grown yet, and they were a little bit concerned about how that would turn out, but
yeah. I mean, a Loth wolf is kind of a boring answer maybe because it's basically just like a wolf but bigger.
Yeah, but they can teleport.
Oh yeah, that's true. That would be handy.
Yeah. I forget what Buggles is. That thing is like...
Oh, the thing from Resistance?
Yeah.
That thing is cute.
I was going to say that thing is not cute, but
Aww.
I still kind of want one.
Aww. It's like a puppy.
It's like a furball with insect legs.
It kind of reminds me of a pug.
Yeah.
Like if Star Wars were to do a pug.
But I do like pugs. But yeah, you're right. It does kind of give off that vibe. After meeting Moochie, I might be down for a Rancor. For a while.
No thanks.
See, I think Rancors are cute, and you think Buggles is cute. And we're on the opposite side. We should have stopped at Nexu and Loth Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't say Loth Cat. No, you don't want a Loth Cat?
I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but my top pick is Loth Wolf.
Okay.
Graham Gaskill wants to know if Ted Lasso could survive in a galaxy far, far away.
If you want to break the cycle of war in Star Wars, I was not thinking about that earlier question when I chose this question, but if you want to break the cycle of war, you bring in Ted Lasso. He'd be the best Jedi. Make him the Grand Master of the Jedi Council. All your problems go away. Make him Chancellor. The galaxy is healed.
Believe!
That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.